Okay, should you or should you not buy a second private property based on a 25,000 monthly income? Let's go. Now in this video, I would like to answer this NGL question that I mentioned in my previous video that I would be answering today. Pause to read if you need to, but before I begin, if you are new to the channel, my name is Marcus, and don't forget to keep all your questions coming in because it encourages me to do more contents like this. Before we deep dive into the details, if you found these kind of videos helpful and it's not the first time you're watching our video, it would mean a world to us if you could hit that like button as we put in tremendous amounts of work to edit, to conceptualize the whole thing, and to film this, so your support will be immensely appreciated. Thank you. So here's the question. What's the minimum cash for down payment that I must hold if I'm thinking of getting my second private property? I'm currently 35 years old, monthly gross income 25k. My first property loan is around 300k. Next monthly around 2.4k using purely CPF to pay off. So my understanding is that you own a current property that has an outstanding loan of 300k. Your monthly installment is 2.4 thousand and you are able to pay off using your monthly OA that you get from your employer. So to answer you, there are a few things you need to take note of, but first up, 35 years old, making 25,000 monthly income. Good job, Singaporeans, very rich. So if you earn below that, maybe you should find a new job. Just kidding, never mind. So anyways, going back to the topic, here are 3 things you need to consider before getting your second property. First up is second housing loan to value. What does that mean is that because when you buy a second property, you're only able to loan up to 45%, which means you need to down pay 55%. We'll go into the details later. Secondly is your total debt servicing ratio. Why? Because if you're buying a second property, you also need to consider your first property, how much the TDSR has been taken up already. Thirdly, the additional buyer stamp duty, whether you can afford. Yeah, these are things that people may miss out from time to time. So ABSD, second property, is actually 20%. So 20% means you're giving it to the government, nation building. If you're very rich, you pay lah. But not many people will actually pay that. So this will actually result to my conclusion of whether should you or should you not be doing it. So make sure you stay to the end because I will show you the right way to approach this that may make more sense. Firstly, let's talk about your second housing loan to value. When considering buying your second property, right, the second housing loan will drop to 45% for the loan tenures of up to 30 years. However, if the loan tenure extends beyond 25 years or goes beyond your 65th birthday, your loan to value will further reduce to 30%. Honestly, 30% is as good as no loan lah. Why? Because you need to pay 70% down. You need to pay stamp duty up to 5%, depending on what price you pay, up to 6%. And you still need to pay ABSD of 20%. So technically, you're almost paying 100% of the full price already. So if you ask me buying property without leverage, I will tell you the comments later lah. Stay tuned to the end. So this implies that as you age, your loan amount will be even lower compared to your current situation at the age of 35. This will also affect your greatly on your down payment for the second property. So before I tell you whether should you or should you not be buying this second property, let me give you an example based on $2 million as the second property and calculate the initial outlay. Since you have not paid off your 300,000 loan, before anything else, your initial down payment for the second property would be split into 25% in cash and the remaining 30% in CPF or cash. In short, your down payment with 55% for your second loan, which 25% has to be in cash. That means you need to pay 500,000 in cash and 600,000 in cash or CPF to cover this portion. You must be quite rich in order to do that. Now let's factor in a few other expenses that often come along with property purchases. First up, the buyer stamp duty or BSD, which will amount to $69,600. Additionally, we have the additional buyer stamp duty, which is a lot, and I always think it's 有钱人给的. For Singaporean citizens, it's typically 20% of the purchase price, which in this case would be $400,000. And let's not forget about the legal fees of $3,500. Summing this all up, your total outlay for the second property of $2 million will be 1.57 million. By now, you should know my answer, whether you should or should not lah. But I will tell you my recommendation at the end. So secondly, total debt servicing ratio, TDSR. Importantly, you need to understand that because it's a second property loan, you're only able to loan up to 45% of the purchase price. You need to make sure that your combined income is able to qualify for the 45% loan. Then that's important. But in your case of 35 years old, making 25,000 per month and an outstanding loan in your current property of 300k, absolutely 100% no problem minimum unless you got a lot of other debts such that you cannot qualify for the 45% loan. So if you would like to check out your TDSR eligibility, we also have it in our link. So click on the description for the link. Do your own due diligence. For those who are watching our videos or real estate content for the first time, TDSR basically is something that limits the amount that you can spend on your monthly debt repayments, like for example student loans, car loans, personal loans, etc. to 55% of your gross monthly income. And banks will actually use that to assess your loan eligibility. So in this case for the OP, I've already done the numbers for you based on outstanding loan of 300,000 for your current existing property plus a $2,000 monthly car installment. You can loan up to 1.95 million, so definitely there's no problem as long as you can afford the down payment. Thirdly, there's ABSD. So what is ABSD? ABSD means additional buyer stamp duty, which is a tax that's levied on top of buyer stamp duty. It's computed based on the valuation or the selling price of the property, whichever is higher. But of course, not everybody needs to pay ABSD. ABSD typically is for Singaporeans buying second property, PR buying first property, or foreigners. Basically, only Singaporean citizens don't need to pay ABSD for their first purchase. And for the buyer stamp duty or BSD in short, are taxes on documents related to the purchase of a property. The tax applies only to the buyer for ABSD and BSD. So let's calculate the ABSD if you are purchasing a $2 million property. As a Singaporean citizen buying a second property, your ABSD will be 20% of your purchase price, which means it will be 400,000. If you are a PR buying a second property, wow, you must be very, very rich. Why? Because your ABSD will be 30% of your purchase price, which means you'll be 600k. Bro, 600k you can fully pay off a property already. So that's why a lot of people, instead of paying the ABSD, they will go and buy overseas property, because like if you go and buy Bangkok properties or you buy Australian properties, 600,000 can get you quite a decent property and you don't even need to take loan, just fully pay it off. But I have a solution for you, so stay tuned to the end. Also, you need to take note that when you're purchasing a completed property, the ABSD and the buyer stamp duty amounts has to be paid in cash first, and after which will be reimbursed from your CPF ordinary account if you have any balance over there at a later date, which usually takes between 2 to 3 months. So if you want to buy, you need to factor in, even you have a lot of CPF, you will still need to use cash to pay first. Do you have the cash? Don't have? Then you are not good to go. Again, I would like to put up a disclaimer over here. Everyone's situation is always very different, and you should do your own due diligence before typing all your hate comments over here. No, I'm just kidding. Before buying any property. And if you need any expert to help you or to plan your exit strategy, call me. Always happy to help. Or you got any questions, drop them in the comments or in the NGL link. We'll try our best to answer you. So if you are learning something so far, right, do me a favor right now. If you haven't already, help me tap the like button and consider subscribing, or even hit the notification bell if you have not, so that you will not miss out any one of the videos in the future. Thank you very much. So now let's conclude whether will I recommend you, or should you or should you not do it in this calculation method? Absolutely nah. Why? Because number one, you are paying more than 50% of the down payment for this property, meaning to say that your leverage is very minimal. To me, the most beautiful thing about buying properties is not because it's a hedge against inflation, but more importantly, it's an ultra secured loan that the banks are very willing to borrow you. Why? Because in case if you lose your job, if you don't have capacity to pay, the bank will not lose money because you have already paid out 25% of the property. So banks love mortgage loans. So if you're not able to borrow the full loan of 75%, sometimes honestly, I don't think it really makes a lot of sense, because there are better ways to make use of your money. Secondly, you're paying up to 30% in additional buyer stamp duty. So if you use a $1 million property as an example, every year inflation is 2%. Basically, your first 10 years, right, growth in terms of pricing is just to pay back, it's just to earn back your 20% ABSD, which you give to for nation building ones. So if you ask me, don't really make a lot of sense. 200,000 plus your down payment, additional of 300,000, total $500,000, right? If you go and buy T-bill, right, it guarantees you 3% depending on which month you actually buy it. But you're getting like 3% per year, almost is guaranteed. So why you want to put in the 500k for nothing and you're not making back them? In fact, 200,000, I'd rather you put into T-bill, something guaranteed, makes more sense. So now, how would I approach this is based on your current situation, based on OP's writing, right? You'll say that you actually have a monthly installment of 2.4k and you're able to service it purely using your OA, which I would assume is your OA monthly contribution. It's quite obvious it's a dual income because there's a max cap of 1,000 plus for each CPF ordinary account. So 2,004 a month, obviously there's dual income. If I were you, I would rather decouple, because obviously you have immense amount of equity in your property. Assuming if let's say your current property that you have an outstanding loan of 300k, right? Assuming it's let's say 1.2 million, a 2-bedroom in the OCI is already about 1 to 1.2 million dollars. So if an outstanding loan of 300k means you actually have an equity of 900,000, you can choose to sell off, cash out everything, split into 2 properties, or you can even consider doing a decoupling to take out one of your names and to purchase the next property at a 75% loan and 0 ABSD. Altogether, you save down payment of 300,000 and stamp duty of 200k, assuming it's a $1 million property that you are buying. So it makes a lot more sense doing that, because decoupling is a very complex process and it will take another full video to do it. If you wish to find out more and you hope that I can do a content like that, let me know in the comment section. And if there's enough requests, or if this video can hit more than 100 likes, right, I will definitely do it for you. Just to show me that you want. So let me know if you wish to know. Hit the like and leave a comment over there so that I will know. If I can, if I'm free, I will do it. If I've got time, I'll do it for you lah. But no lah. 100 likes. So in closing, buying a property, there are so many different kind of permutations that you can do it. Therefore, sometimes seeking professional advice is very important. So those people that say that property agent only open doors, turn on lights, or you think that you don't need an agent in a transaction, right? Think again. All these calculations are very complex, and sometimes even as professionals, I would say professional because I have a cert lah, RES cert. So even professionals also can mix it up. So if you are just a consumer, better seek professional advice, or you make use of all the free apps online to go and do it. But I would say that for myself, even when I'm selling my property, I will also find an agent to do it, which I just did when I sold my current place. So sometimes having somebody to give you opinions is extremely important. So that's all I have for today. Keep your questions coming. Anything you wish to know, drop them in the comment. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, do so now. Tap the like button and share this with your friends, because like I always say, real estate content can help literally every single person in Singapore as long as you share it. And don't forget to join my Telegram group, which I have been sharing daily property news. So thanks for watching and thanks for staying till the end, and I will hope to see you in my next video. Bye.